Germany, gotta conquer it one for all. I know it's my destiny, Germany. Oh, Russia will fall to the greatest of them all. Germany, gotta conquer, oh no. America's entering Normandy and Stalingrad, imminent.
Germany will fall, Germany will fall, finally.
Hitler, I choose you.
Stalin, I choose you. Stalin.
Hitler, use helping hand.
Before World War II began, Hitler and Stalin signed a non-aggression pact that formally became known as the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. This was signed in Moscow on August 23, 1939, 22nd, 1941, when Germany invaded the Soviet Union.
Hitler, I choose you.
Hitler, Hitler.
Go, League of Nations.
Hitler, use Lear.
League of Nations, use rest.
The League of Nations was the result of the Paris Peace Conference that ended the First World War. It was created to prevent wars through collective security and disarmament and to settle international disputes through negotiation. During World War II, the League of Nations only tried to intimidate Hitler, but it failed miserably. Hitler wanted land such as the Sudetenland, land taken away from Germany after World War I, and the League of Nations gave to him through appeasement so that he would not declare war. Obviously, this did not work, as France and Britain declared war on Germany after the invasion of Poland.
Churchill, go.
Churchill.
Go, Hitler.
Hitler, Hitler.
Churchill, use rage.
Hitler uses air raid.
Churchill, use carpet bomb.
Hitler, use overwhelming forces.
Churchill, call help from the U.S.
Hello, this is the U.S. Embassy. How may I help you?
Hello, this is Great Britain. Need backup. The Royal Air Force is the oldest independent air force in the world. The RAF was used by Britain in World War II when they were on their own against Germany after France was lost. The Battle of Britain was mainly in the air, and the Germans bombed British cities at night to take them by surprise.
Carpet bombing is usually achieved by dropping many unguided bombs, in contrast to precision bombing, which is aimed at a small target, such as a bunker, an airfield, or a military unit. One of its uses is the aerial bombing of cities. During World War II, Britain responded to the German night bombings with carpet bombing.
Go, Hitler.
Stalin, I choose you.
Operation Barbarossa.
Operation Barbarossa was the code name for Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union during the Second World War. Beginning on June 22, 1941, over 4 million soldiers of the Axis powers invaded the USSR along a 1,800-mile front, the largest invasion in the history of warfare. The ambitious operation was driven by Adolf Hitler's persistent desire to conquer the Soviet territories. It marked the beginning of the pivotal phase in deciding the victors of the war. Stalin, use slash and burn. As the Russians retreated, they burned their crop fields so that the Nazis couldn't use the resources that were left behind, and they would eventually run out of supplies and die from starvation.
Hitler invades Stalingrad. The Battle of Stalingrad resulted in the highest casualties of any battle in World War II. This was a turning point of World War II because Hitler's forces suffered many casualties and lost the Battle of Stalingrad and were forced to retreat.
Stalin, use outrage.
Hitler, return!
FDR, I choose you.
F D R.
Hitler, I choose you!
FDR, use Shadow Rush.
Hitler, use your undersea boot!
Unrestricted submarine warfare is a type of naval warfare in which submarines sink vessels such as freighters and tankers without warning. The German name for a submarine was undersea boot during World War II.
FDR, use blockade.
Hitler, use Enigma!
FDR, use mind reader.
The German military used a secret code that they thought was unbreakable. This was called Enigma. British and American intelligence agencies were able to break Enigma eventually and created a device that could translate their coded messages that they named Ultra.
FDR, use Doolittle Ray.
Doolittle Raid, also known as the Tokyo Raid, was carried out on April 18, 1942. It was the first air raid by the United States to strike the Japanese home islands during World War II by demonstrating that Japan itself was vulnerable to American air attack. It provided a vital morale boost and opportunity for U.S. retaliation after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. The raid was planned and led by Lieutenant Colonel James Jimmy Doolittle.
FDR, use Operation Torch.
Operation Torch was a plan to invade Europe through Africa to avoid Atlantic blockades. Operation Torch was described as going through a soft underbelly of Europe.
Hirohito, use close combat.
FDR, use Battle of Midway. The Battle of Midway was one of the most important naval battles of the Pacific Campaign in World War II. Between the 4th and 7th of June 1942, only 6 months after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor and 1 month after the Battle of Coral Sea, the United States Navy decisively defeated the Imperial Japanese Navy attack against Midway Atoll, inflicting irreparable damage upon the Japanese fleet.
Hitler, return so you can rest.
The Yalta Conference was held from February 4th to the 11th in 1945. It was the World War II meeting of the heads of the government of the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union. These countries were represented by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Prime Minister Winston Churchill, and Joseph Stalin, respectively, for the purpose of discussing Europe's post-war reorganization.
FDR, use Operation Overlord.
Operation Overlord was the code name for the Battle of Normandy, the operation that launched the invasion of German-occupied Western Europe during World War II by Allied forces. The operation commenced on June 6, 1944 with the Normandy landings, commonly known as D-Day. A 12,000 plane airborne assault preceded an amphibious assault involving almost 7,000 vessels. FDR's health had steadily been declining throughout World War II. His polio was affecting him greatly and he died of his stroke on April 12, 1945.
Hitler, commit suicide.
Hitler committed suicide along with his wife in a bunker on the storming of Normandy. He and his wife ate cyanide pills and died on April 29, 1945.
Douglas MacArthur, I choose you! Douglas MacArthur, use Island Hopper. Come out!
Harrington, I choose you!
Truman had to make one of the hardest decisions in World War II. He had to decide whether or not to use the one-hit KO move known as A-bomb against the Japanese.
Rito, use Endure!
Truman, use A-bomb. Truman, use A-bomb.
Focus, I'm serious.
Go!
Wait, what do I do?
Fall.
No! Hitler! No, you're not supposed to do that!
Good fun though.
No! Now look like you're doing something, like go like, ah! Go Subi, do it. Subi, do it!